Let's rock and roll, boys.
Welcome to another Nintendo podcast. I'm your host today, Matt Schultz, joined by Austin Cummings.
Hello there, Matt.
Oh, hello there, Austin. Your hair looks great today. And
continue.
Danny, your your headphones look great today. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. These are my new from our sponsor today, Audio Technica.
They really do look nice, but they've given us no money.
The viewers should hopefully start to recognize our brand new gear every episode and hopefully understand, hey, we're trying to make this thing better. Hey, we've got a fun little show today. Not a lot in the news, but Nintendo has given us just a few nuggets to talk about, so we're going to do it. And of course, Smash Brothers is on that list. But first, we're jumping right into our first segment, Big Ann in the News.
Great.
Was that the whip?
Yeah.
Was that the?
Okay. It's a whip. Yeah, it's a whip.
All right. Starting off, we got Frosty Fest, which is our Splatfest for this January, for the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I'm a big Splatoon player. Austin, I know you've dabbled in the ink.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think I've done enough time, but not enough to say I'm more than just like a filthy B- casual player, really. I mean, in ranked, not casual, but I mean, my skills do not equate to the amount of time I've played. But I have found every collectible in adventure mode, so I know a thing or two about the lore. Let's talk about it.
Including the Octo expansion?
Don't shame me. All right,
so we'll just skip over that. But what I do think is interesting, Danny, eventually I'll get you on the Splat bandwagon. So for folks who don't know, who are maybe on the fence about Splatoon in general, the Splatfests are these monthly or like every month and a half or so huge like online gatherings where the You don't want to say Leroy? We're sponsored.
I'm not interrupting. Okay, let me tell you this. I've been doing some of the audio editing, and what I noticed more than anything is I do a lot of chatting. And so I was just going to casually and quietly lift this delightful Pamplemousse LaCroix right into the frame and just have a nice little swig without interrupting a soul. But here we are, and you invoked this yourself, so remember this, Matt Schultz. All right, continue. Splatfest, it's a monthly battle. It's all themed. Choose a side.
Lots of themes, lots of sides. And actually, what I wanted to get at was it's very interesting because this Splatfest theme is
LaCroix.
It's LaCroix.
It's lime. It's a lime versus.
It's only a matter of time before LaCroix makes its way into Splatfest somehow.
The branding is just so subtle.
So this one, you choose a side, right? You choose one thing or another. It's classic friends like Coke versus Pepsi, dogs versus cats. In this case, it's family versus friends. Who will you spend your winter with? Or your winter
if you had to save the lives of only one, who would it
Also,
be?
the whole winter, not just like Friendsgiving, like all of winter.
No, yeah, right. No, it's who will you spend the holidays with? That is the key question.
That's intense.
Yeah.
I suggest this for the fest. They've done a few different Splatfest themes now that are like on the edge, where it's like, okay, at a glance, fantasy versus sci-fi, like. You're not going to offend anyone. It's just like kind of a fun. What's your passion? What's your hobby?
Right.
But there have been a few that have had this like extra layer that, if you really think about it, it's just like kind of a chilling little element to it. Like for instance, they did like these the squids versus octopus as like a theme after the octopus expansion came out. Yeah. And you can, on the surface, okay, it's two similar. Not to disparage either marine type animals. Difference only two legs, but if you really think about it, like in the lore of Splatoon, they're like these warring races. They have like a long-standing race war, and then it's like, which side are you on? Right after they release this expansion. Yeah, exactly. They released this expansion that's like they finally play together, and then it's like, but if you only liked one of them and you couldn't trust the other ones, who would it be? So I know they really throw that at you.
Yeah,
you think there will be like a Romeo Juliet like DLC storyline between the squids and the octopus?
I'd be all over. It's like just a visual novel.
I'm sure. I'm sure the next like two talk show hosts are like celebrities.
I mean, I'm already trying to date like all of the main characters, which are all beautiful.
Moving on. No, so Splatfest, that's January 4th. So right at the new year. And it should be interesting. So in Splatfest, they completely changed the aesthetic of the main lobby of the game, or the town square. which is pretty cool just to look at and visually, and just the music is all very cool. It kind of becomes like nighttime in like the town.
Right.
Now for this one, I've looked at some of these photos. It's like it looks like a winter wonderland taken over Inkopolis Square, I think is what it's called. So it's pretty cool. So I'm excited to check that. I'll be playing in my holiday adventures. Maybe Danny, maybe you'll be graced by Santa this year with a copy of Splatoon 2. We'll see. Danny, you're pretty good at it.
Can't turn down a free game, but we'll see.
I don't want your gift, but if I were to just end up with it, one of my favorite things about the Splatfest are people can write little comments. It was very popular on Wii U, especially because I had the stylus. It made it really a little more doable, not for me, but for artists to make these really wonderful images with here's Matt using video podcast, a stylus pen, so he could be the next digital artist. But
this is big break finally.
But people write messages that are very funny, often like, my mom will let me use the credit card, sad face, or like, or incredible art. I can't wait to see what the family and friends ones come up, like, no friends, no family, like things of that ilk. Or what if it just like pulled in people's, family photos off, social media and listed that as like a can. Very good, Matt. That's our first topic of the week as far as our news, but we still have two others. One of which is Firewatch on Switch, and it comes out on December 17th. Have either of you played Firewatch?
Yes.
I have not.
Oh, Danny, you would love it. I played it on the PS4. I guess a year ago.
Yeah, if you love the idea of the great outdoors, but you don't quite love the great outdoors, here's a game for you. I love Breath of the Wild. That said, I don't want to be outside. I don't want the wind. I don't want to.
I feel personally attacked right now.
It's all the artists done by Ollie Moss, who's a fabulous artist who now works over at Valve. He also designed the posters for the Frozen Broadway play, which is kind of neat, as well as the most recent edition of all the Harry Potter books. He's like really gotten a lot of fame in recent years, and he's really good at, as far as posters and whatnot, doing like things with negative space. You both are big Star Wars fans, and you've probably seen like, the 3 posters of the original trilogy that have like one of it's Cloud City, but it's like Boba Fett's visor, or one is like on Endor, but in the trees you can see Vader. It's like very, very cool and atmospheric, moody looking. He does all the art for Firewatch, and that comes out very soon. Probably not a game I will revisit on the Switch, but I did definitely like it, and I played it when I was at PAX West this year. The port, it looks great, runs great, and
is there any special Nintendo content with it?
I don't believe so. There might be like a little Easter egg or something that I'm forgetting. For the most part, it's just the same game. It's kind of probably a 3 to 4 hour story where you play as
a beautiful story.
It's
like this little. It's a mystery. There's all kinds of speculation about the meaning on all over the YouTube and the interwebs. But it was fun. It was like I found myself coming back every night after work, and like that's what I wanted to work up to. I wanted to clean the apartment, have dinner, and then sit down, turn off all the lights, and play Firewatch. And I love the outdoors, so I was really intrigued by being in the Wisconsin wilderness. Wyoming.
And I love video games, Wyoming. And I love that 40-year-old man who's gone through a divorce or whatever and is trying to find himself as a Firewatch person.
The voice acting is so good.
Oh, man.
From Mad Men. It's the guy, one of the actors from Mad Men. It is.
Was that Roger Sterling?
It's not Don Draper or Sterling Cooper, Draper or Price. Is very good. Okay, let's do the third news item. Okay, here we go. So the Japanese Pokemon Twitter account confirmed that Pikachu and Eevee spirits will arrive on December 14th, and they won't be accessible to all players. Instead, only those with Pikachu and Eevee will have the save data. Exactly. So it's a little like good old Psycho Mantis on Metal Gear Solid 1 saying like, you like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, don't you? Or in the Twin Snakes version, when he's talking about games you have on GameCube, in any event, it's going to read your save data and bring spirits along, which I think is really cool. The thing I like about this is twofold. One, that it's taking them a whole extra week to get out these JPEGs of Pikachu. Do you think this game has any shortage of Pikachu JPEGs in there? That thing is that game file. Right, I already have it on my Switch. Can't remember how big it is.
I don't think
Okay.
it's just going to be JPEGs, right? Is
No,
it going to
let me
incorporate
say-
the
no.
whole fighting thing?
Let me say it. Let me say this. I have the game on my Switch right now. I want to say it's like, what, 7 gigs? I have no idea. Don't take that for fact. But as far as I'm aware, that thing's probably 6.5 gigs worth of Pikachu JPEG. Like, in actuality, it's all over that game. You can't get enough of that electronic squirrel, as they call them. Electric mouse Pokemon. But in the case of this, I like that it's like a rollout with the spirits, which actually genuinely is like clever use of, I think, the character, like, and the whole concept of spirits. Because spirits, as we know, it opens the door for all types of crossover, right? Beyond, doesn't require trophy creation, doesn't require new balancing, a whole new character, but instead it's like, hey, it's Hal Emmerich from Metal Gear Solid 1. All of a sudden in my game, it's really just a JPEG of him that has some stat bonuses for the story mode or option for multiplayer. Yeah, I think it's really neat, and I love the save data thing. I'd love to see that in more games.
I mean,
You guys just thoughts on that?
it's probably going to happen with all the games that got coming out in the next like Q1, Q2 of 2019. I bet it's going to be like, and you can get their JPEG of your favorite character.
Hey, go online, Google Images, type in Pikachu, pick out your favorite one. It'll come to you in 1 week if you bought the $60 game. It'll show up in the mail. Let me ask you guys this. So you guys recorded a famous and well-beloved A&P episode.
We did.
A&P, I
18.
think episode 18. Recently remastered through the power of GarageBand and about 6 hours of self-hatred on my part. So and you guys did a great job breaking down the Nintendo Direct, but now a little time's passed. We're on the eve of the game. The biggest change, I think, is the Spirits mode and the lack of trophies. So now that we're a little closer, what do you guys feel like in terms of, are you glad about the Spirits? Are you missing trophies more than you thought? Have you come to terms with it? Danny, why don't you tell me a little bit what you're thinking about Spirits now?
Yeah, I think I'm still kind of thinking the same things. I think in that last podcast I mentioned that, like, the trophies I always thought were kind of annoying. Like, even going back to the N64 days, I was like, well, what does that mean now? What is it? It's just like you got your A+ sticker. Like, what is it? I don't know. These seem a little cooler. I like the artwork a little more. Right. Yeah, you got your completionist trophy. Like, good for you.
Right.
I don't know. I always like a little more artwork. And it doesn't feel as, I don't know, the trophies always, for some reason, feel gimmicky and just pointless. So some extra artwork, some extra decals, those go a little way.
That's a hard stance on the trophies for sure, but that's what we love here on ANT. Is you're not going to say it like you do. Matt,
Deep cut.
what are you thinking?
I'm excited. I mean, I like collectibles. I think it's a little intimidating that there's going to be so many. But I'm excited to just jump in and see how. I don't know. I'm still kind of confused as to how they're going to show up. Is it going to be worthwhile? Is it going to be meaningful? Am I going to enjoy playing a boss that has Eevee's spirit attached to it? I don't know. But it's exciting. I mean, at least I'm intrigued. But I know that growing up, I loved the box art. I loved opening up the instruction manual and seeing all the extra art in there.
Just licking it.
Really, I mean, and all that stuff is.
What copies did you guys get?
I'm talking about like 3DS games, or no, maybe DS games and Game Boy Advance games and old N64 boxes. It had some really good art in those instruction manuals, or even just on the back. And I feel like seeing some of that, it's the same exact art that you get when you collect these spirits.
Yeah.
They haven't redone anything other than maybe like update the image quality, but that's exciting. So specifically for games I played, but I don't know that I'm gonna like really want, I don't know, some obscure character.
I think that this announcement, the first time I've been more excited about the spirits concept, that they can release spirits as we go, and in a way, Matt, it's a little bit like the Splatfest idea, where you're gonna have Pikachu people and Eevee people. There's already that very fun and positive divide in Let's Go, and also in Pokemon Go, which I'll talk about in a moment.
Right.
But I like that idea where it's like, hey, you have this one, here's an experience that like you get because you like this other property, and they can roll that out a lot faster with the spirits. It gives them this really flexible platform, and I like that. Whereas we never saw more trophy content outside of the DLC characters, like Classic Mode, Adventure Mode trophies. There weren't, this is like the bulk of them. I will say, the only thing I will miss about trophies, I liked the kind of finite collection feel of them, And when I think back to Brawl and Subspace Emissary, you could equip stickers, which were very similar in appearance to the spirits, right? Just the 2D image, JPEG. And I feel like, I hope the game does a rewarding enough job presenting them that I can like look at my collection, see a grid, see it's like, oh, I have all these stickers and there's like a space that says 71, and there's something missing in there and I want to fill that in. Like that's the fun of Pokemon and the collection and the filling out the Pokédex and seeing like what's missing, or even in the other Smash games where there's the big challenge board, right? And you break one and the adjacent pieces reveal like what you need to do to accomplish those. I hope there's just something to really catalog, like I got the whole set of, let's say characters from Kirby Star Allies or something, or I got the whole set of characters from this specific
your favorite
Luigi's
game,
Mansion
whatever
Dark
it
Moon.
is. Yeah.
My favorite game, Kirby Star Allies. But the I like that flexibility. It gets me a little more excited about the concept because I was kind of a little bummed at first about that. But in the same way also that like, is anyone going to equip? What do you guys think? Spirits for multiplayer matches? Are you guys ever going to turn that on? Realistically,
I mean,
hit me straight, Danny. Hit me straight. You just give it to. Do you really think you're gonna do it? You gonna play a coin battle, Danny, or you gonna get a free key? Come on.
No, so my roommates first got me on board of like not using weapons. I hadn't played Smash since Melee, and then they got me playing Smash Wii U, and I fell in love again. But anyways, they got me on the train of no weapons. It's just you, bare bones, your character. What they come with is what you got.
Box only, Final Destination. We know it. That's the way it was meant to be played. One character, only dodge roll.
Yeah. So ever since then, I'm like, why would I ever use weapons again? Like they sure, like maybe like every now and then, but I'm like, I just love the no weapons, just like go all at it, Omega stage, everything. So this feels similar to that mindset of, if I'm not going to use weapons, I don't want any more add-ons. I just want the bare bones character. Just versus all. So that's my take.
Just 4 guys, in maybe like a weight room, just kind of going at the sandbag, nothing else. Pure, simple, visceral.
Not even a sweatband.
Not even a sweatband. Get that filth out of there. There's 4 bare dudes punching it out. I would say that for this though, it does make me so excited just even having you say that, Danny, where it's like I don't know exactly how this game is going to play, right? I played it at PAX. I was overwhelmed by things and pro controllers and whatever. Of course, it's Smash, but like, it's going to be things that unfold to us over time, like the changes they made to the dodge rolls, or the changes they made to the grabs, or the way now that like the rage meter, when you take damage, you deal more damage. That's now a softer power creep. So when you get more damage, you're still more powerful, but not so much the previous games. Like all the weird little balance things that I think, if you give the layman or me Smash, I love the game, and they call me layman. But when I play it, it's like they feel similar, especially to Blush. But when you play them enough, you start to like Brawl feels so different from Melee, and they all feel so different from 64. But I think that will take time to really seep, and I'm so excited for all those new opportunities. Come Friday.
Yeah, Thursday night for those who can stay up past their bedtime, which will be not.
Yeah, nope.
No.
Only 9 p.m. over here, boys. Come on out.
Will it release at 9 p.m.? I guess at Eastern Standard Time, technically.
It will
open up for you. That's pretty awesome.
It is. It's one of the big old perks of West Coast living. Reggie knows where it's at. West Coast, West Coast. He tweets at me directly, DMs me
all the time.
He doesn't do that.
So
Nintendo also
we've been talking a lot about Smash. Why don't we just get right into our AMP headliner?
Sounds good.
All right. So
good.
Over the weekend, Danny and I were at a watering hole with a friend of ours who's also very interested in Smash, big Smasher,
so much water.
And also Danny's roommate. And he posed the question, who are you going to main? And I was like, that's a great question. I really haven't thought about that with these 70-plus characters. So I want to play a little game with 3 of you, all right? I got 4 questions here. We're going to go around and we're going to do it 2 at a time, okay? You're going to answer the first 2. We're going to rotate, and then we'll answer the last 2. First 2 questions are, who did you main in the previous Smash? Could be Wii U, if that was your previous Smash. If you haven't played in a while, then whatever you played last. And of course, who are you looking to main in this game? Like who you're definitely going to main, and you're going to get good
Who
at
do you
it.
want,
The
who do you
first
want to make an
character-
honest man or woman out of?
That's
Who do
right.
you want to take home to meet Pops?
Or electric squirrel. Who are you
DK.
gonna make an honest electric squirrel out of?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Electric squirrel Pokemon.
Last two questions
Electronic squirrel, Robo Pika. Go ahead.
are who do you really wish like you could get good with? You may not get good with them, but you really want to learn them. Probably not the person you're gonna be fighting with all the time, but someone you're like want to impress your friends and parents with.
Matt, what if I'm really good at all the characters? What do I say then?
Just go.
Mom,
Pika.
Dad, this is what I've amounted to. This is what I've succeeded at.
Check
Thank
out
you
these
for the
guys
life
are
you've
level
given me.
Now
9,
look at this one.
Dad.
Mm-hmm.
24 hours later. Which fighter are you then absolutely not looking forward to playing against? That's the final fourth question. All right. So
Okay,
let's just
let's
go
do
with
it.
the first two. Austin, kick us off. Who did you main last game? Who do you absolutely for sure know you're going to try to main in Ultimate?
Let me tell you this, Matt. The character I almost always main is the Toon Link, the young Link, really. So, like in Melee, loved young Link, and then Toon Link because I love Wind Waker when Brawl came out, and young Link was, wiped
it.
from the canon. The timelines diverge, and when he loses that and the moon crashes on that timeline of Majora's Mask, he is not in Smash Brawl. So. I liked Toon Link, but let me tell you something that's very distressing to me. So they've made tweaks to the characters. Can you believe it? And which largely I support. However,
they do
the
that?
side B charge move for Toon Link, I need everyone's extreme focus here. I'm talking to you, police. I need you guys to get at Sakurai, lock this man up because they have done this to my boy Toon Link. Basically, if you do the charge A to the side for Young Link, the way it had worked was that he takes one swing and then there's like the follow-up. So you there's like a little pause in between, which is great for pranking your noob friends, and they think they avoided the sword, but guess what? It's coming right back the other side of the blade. Double-edged sword, it's a normal sword. But now that is gone for Toon Link, he doesn't have like that double slash charge move. I believe Young Link still has it, so I'm thinking
Just to
I might need to
differentiate
transition
the
back.
two in the same
Yep.
game.
Because we know they're not echoes, even though the echo thing is still completely vague and doesn't make any sense. Which speaking of, the DLC characters, none of them will be echoes, but I feel like now we're at this point we know the roster. Echoes were so poorly defined. They make no sense. Like, they still totally contradict, like, what character's an echo, what character's is not. Like, you guys were talking about the Koopa Kids on episode 18. They're all in there as Bowser Jr.'s like alternate costumes. That could just be like whatever 8 echoes or what have you. But instead, it's like they're not.
Echo just
But
feels
people
like
all
they're
date
retroactively
people.
going
One
back and
character
describing
slot has
these
10.
characters.
Daisy, who is like an
characters.
alternate color for Peach, is like her own character. It's just, don't get me started. Anyway, Toon Link was a thing of the past. I think Young Link will be my main based on that.
Okay. Danny, who did you main? Who will you main?
Man, I
you been to
kid you
Maine?
not. I have actually. It's a
good.
beautiful, beautiful state.
Visit me.
So I mained Link, regular Link in Smash U,
God.
and he is my guy. Still remains that guy. The Breath of the Wild one, he looks cool for Ultimate, but his moveset, that whole like the bomb becomes a remote thing, it doesn't explode on impact. I'm like, no, I don't like that. I need the impact. I plan.
But did you
only
use
on
the bombs? I always felt like they were so floaty and goofy.
So, my roommates hate me for how much I spam the projectiles that Link has, the arrows, the bombs, and some of my other friends, including Mr. Matthew. Just spamming all those projectiles, because they don't expect it. They're thinking all the strong attacks. They think I'm a better fighter than that, so they plan for something more sophisticated. So then when I keep repeatedly hitting them with the smaller crap, they have no counter to that. So yes, I
Got in
made
their heads.
but now that it seems like regular Breath of the Wild Link is going to be just different in a couple different ways, I've also been thinking that
What have you
I
been
will be going with Young Link because
Oh.
seems like
here
the
we
most-
go.
I'll
he
see you
seems like he's
online,
the most, like,
boy.
basic. He seems like he's the most plain vanilla Link. So
Oh, I think he's a beautiful Link of many, many colors and flavors and textures and delights. I would
Okay.
never think to call him Vanilla Link.
he's definitely mint chocolate chip. That's what I meant. But what I'm trying to
Right.
say is,
He's going to satisfy
Extremely
that craving
exotic.
for you. I get it.
Yeah.
All right,
But
so
I'm sorry you threw Daddy Link to the wolves like that, but I'll let it stand. Okay, Matt, go for it.
so I am also gonna main. No, never. I hate playing against Link. That's kind of jumping ahead too quickly, but no, No, okay. So I mained Fox or Pit. No, excuse me. I mained I did Pit or Dark Pit in the last game.
Man,
Which
you came up with these gosh darn questions. You must know right
I
quick.
know.
Who did you
No,
play?
they get them all mixed up though. Specifically, I tried
can you
to
mix up
main
Pit and Dark
Villager,
Pit?
and that
I think it was
just
Pit
took me.
and Fox.
What was that?
Yeah, I was like, I think he mixed up Pit and Fox.
Yeah, those are the two. So
So similar.
for
Stars.
obviously for Melee I was Fox. For Wii, for Brawl I was like, oh, Pit was cool. I still wanted to hang on to Fox. Fox was a little different then, so I went with Pit. And the last game I kind of like just bounced between the two. But specifically, I like the way Fox looks now. But specifically, I'd like to.
He looks hot.
He looks so hot. I mean, he
Looks
he
really
was the
hot.
star of the show in the last direct.
He always looked good.
We gotta take them
That's
all
the
out,
thing.
everyone.
It's
Don't
like,
let
hey,
one of them pass.
we got all these hands up here on a cliff. It's very epic.
Hey, he's
Jeez.
seen the wider universe of the Atlas system. So
He's seen all the
kinds of creatures.
He's seen the terrors the multiverse might contain. He's come back to warn them of these
Nothing-
giant boy hands.
Nothing frightens him now.
You know what? Actually, thinking about the lore, Star Fox does Fox himself, excuse me, but he does have a long-standing like fear of large hands, given that like Andross himself is 66% hand. So
I've
I
fought
he just
many-
loses
most
his
of the
mind,
bosses
like,
he's fought
at the
are-
sight of this.
most video game bosses in general are just two large hands and a head.
Link's like,
He's
I've
like,
seen
I've
those
defeated-
before. All the Nintendo characters are like, wait a minute. I've seen this
Is that
before.
Glover? That's Glover, isn't it?
That's just one big old Glover. He's back, baby. It's a soft relaunch of Glove, the Glovester.
So who do I want to main? I would love to main Inkling. I think it's just kind of like I feel connected to just the character itself. Feel like I'm kind of like a squid and a kid at any moment.
I've always thought of you like that, even long before Splatoon.
Yeah, when you
you're
hear
always
about
part
me, you're
squid,
like,
part kid.
This guy's definitely a squid kid.
I just when you listen to me, you don't really quite understand what I'm saying, but
No.
okay.
Then you disappear out of frame and into squid form. Yeah, Inkling.
Probably goop everywhere.
And no, so I'm really excited to get my hands on Inkling. I know you got to play with him a little bit.
I did. And
I don't know if
love
that
it.
was like the tech demo, what like really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Reggie
character
really
does.
sat me down, put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "Son, I want to teach you the mechanics, the side B of Inkling of Splat Girl."
Some surprises.
My impression of this is like because there's the meter, it's a little bit like Olimar, right? Let's maybe go to the next question, Matt, a little, which is like the one you'd like to be good at, or one of the
Yeah,
questions.
you could start us off. Continue the donut
Well,
here.
Okay, I would love to be good with a character that has the technical aspect. Like I've always thought Olimar was neat, and the meters in this game I think are really cool. How they're personalized for the characters where it's appropriate, or like how Cloud has like the meter to do
Right.
his super move. So his limit break from FF7. But in the case of this, I always feel like I want to be good technically, but I always go for characters because I jump off games so quickly that for me it's like I want to play someone I can know. So like when I play a fighting game, I'm always playing like the Ryu character because it's like I already know most of the combos. I can get good enough with this character to like beat my friends or maybe some people online, but I don't need to dedicate tons of time learning a super tactical fighter. Now for Smash, it's different because I anticipate playing a lot of it. So the character I'm most excited for, honestly, which maybe is a slightly different question, but in Incineroar, I'm super excited for.
Yeah, I mean that counts. It's someone you're really interested in. Potentially you're gonna try to play with.
That I think so. I'm looking forward. I like the taunts that he throws out. I'm assuming I know you guys talked about it. That I think just moving will probably cancel out the taunt animation, go right into the next thing. I like the wrestler, and from what I've heard, the like dark lariat move where he throws him against the ropes and then times is really tricky on the timing. So that seems to introduce like that level of technicality that would be a fun person to kind of work at. How about you guys?
Yeah, Danny, go for it. Who are you excited about? And who? Well, you wait.
Well, yeah, we got backtrack to Austin.
Austin,
Who do you not want to play
Yeah,
against?
who are you like? I know my friend's gonna
Honestly-
choose this character, and I'm gonna
Honestly,
hate it.
Danny, because he's not always as nice as you would want him to be. A lot of hot takes. We're not ready to hear. The character I probably don't enjoy playing against quite as much would be people proficient with like really fast characters. We're getting real juggled. But as far as thinking about the new fighters, I know this is like a little lame answer, but I'd say a character I'm feeling less excited about is Ridley, and people really want Ridley. I love the Metroid series, but he's kind of just a big spooky dragon, and he has a little bit of the same like kind of syndrome that Bowser or even like Sonic has for me, where I feel like all of their special moves, I know they are different, but like all their special moves feel very samey. And when I played Ridley, it just like wasn't an exciting character. So this isn't like from a technical level, just like I didn't play Ridley and feel like, wow,
Right.
he's just like big growly dragon guy, Anyway, so if I lose to any Ridley match or fighters, I'm just gonna like quickly unplug from the internet, claim it was a connection loss, like never own it. But Ridley is a character I'm probably a little less maybe excited about
Okay.
of the new ones.
All right, Danny, same questions.
Yeah, who do I wish to learn? Definitely Wolf. So
Ooh.
Fox was my guy in Melee. And then when I was trying to play as Fox in Wii U, and I was first getting into Wii U, I was like, something about it just doesn't feel the same. Like I feel like I don't have as much control. I feel like he doesn't do as much damage. So I fell out of love with Fox. Even though historically he's probably one of my favorite Nintendo characters.
Yeah, you love Crystal.
Oh yeah. Waiting for her to come out in the DLC. So I'm
Where's
looking
the
forward to that.
Where's the alternate Crystal outfit for Fox?
And a little more modest,
Put that on him, yeah.
But it's so definitely looking forward to Wolf. I heard he's similar but different enough to Fox and Falco. He's got some of the same quick moves, but he's not as fast and he hits a little harder. And that
sure.
just kind of sounds perfect. So really looking forward to Wolf. Who do I? This one's funny. If I didn't pick Wolf for who I want to play as, I would pick Piranha Plant for who I want to play as, because it just seems quirky and fun and weird. Who do I definitely not want to play against? Piranha Plant. Because it just seems like one of those weird characters you're like, I lost to Piranha Plant. God damn it. You just be so ashamed of yourself, like as you try to be this like more serious character, and you lose to like.
I'm calling it. People are going to get good with Piranha
feet.
Plant. You know why? Because they're early adopters.
Yeah, and they.
You're going to be online, you're going to be Piranha Plant, you're like, oh, this person had the game 2 months ahead of me.
Yeah.
Or they
That's very
forked up
impressive.
$6,
Right. Well, sure.
Yeah.
So that's me.
All right, so I am really excited to potentially get good at Isabelle. It's the same part of me that wanted to get good with Villager last round, and I was pretty decent with Villager, but not to the point that I felt like
You don't. Hey, you can be honest here with your friends,
I
all right,
just
buddy?
you could get far
If you
in
had
a
fun,
4-on-4
that's what
match.
matters.
You just couldn't survive when it was 1-on-1. It was too hard to win a 1-on-1 match. It was good enough to be annoying to everybody.
Yeah.
Isabelle, I've got hope for. She's organized. She's got her ish together. She's cool.
Right. Yeah.
And she'll run you over with a bus.
Woman in power in the city. I like what I've heard about Isabelle is that she, though there are elements back to the Echo thing that are similar to the Villager.
Yeah.
The way in which she is not an Echo, and part of the reason for that is the speed at which she executes upon the moves. Like you're kind of mentioning how slow Villager was, that it's kind of hard 1-on-1.
Right.
To really like charge up those things and plant the play the long game on those attacks. Isabelle's a lot more immediate.
Well, I hope so.
She seems to be like a great option.
I know she's supposed to be faster. I'm just like, I hope fast enough for someone who likes to main Fox or Pit. I mean, Pit's kind of slow compared to Fox, but I like faster characters, but I also love Animal Crossing. So,
have I got a character for you? His name is Sonic the Hedgehog, and though he isn't all the way dressed, he has 2 pairs of sneakers and he's ready to run. You're too slow.
So which character do I not want to play against? Typically, it's Link. Any of the Links. I just feel like people...
Oh, he's coming for us.
They just spam
Boy Link or
that,
Dad Link?
what is it? Is it B down or B up? When it specifically
I never tell you.
old,
I never tell you.
old Papa Link.
Disrespect my boy.
He'll swing the sword. Yeah, it's a 360-degree sword slash, and it's
You got it,
annoying as heck.
The whirlwind slash. Thank you.
Even
man.
just the the side B. Everything about Link is.
Yeah, here's another thing, Matt. Why
What?
has he got to use a sword? You know, why can't he just punch it out?
For that matter,
you know, why
let's
does this guy
all
got to hide
sword
behind a
characters.
knife?
Let's just
a
get
big
rid
old
of all
knife.
the characters with swords. Give Link just a bow and arrow. You know.
Yeah, imagine Mario if he got to use a sword, but he doesn't. You know, that's not fair.
Wait. You know, didn't Sonic get like a sword in one of his games?
Oh, I don't know. Did
he?
Sonic get a sword in Sonic and the Black Knight
I
on
think
the
that's the
Nintendo
one.
Wii? I don't know.
It's only a matter of time
Matt.
before. Where's Mario's
did-
sword? How come
did
Captain
Shadow-
can't turn into a sword?
Did Shadow get a gun and a motorcycle
He
in
did.
Shadow the Hedgehog on GameCube? I think we know the answers, listener. Write your congressman. Tell him to ban that cursed game.
But for that matter, can I just add every single Fire Emblem character to that list as well?
Yeah.
I just,
Oh,
I'm like, oh, who am I
you.
playing? It doesn't matter. They're from
No, I'll
Fire
give you
Emblem.
that.
No, they're all the same, huh? All
I
the
mean, it's
same.
only a
Basically
third of the
all
roster.
same. One of them turns into a dragon.
Fairness, there's only 30 of them.
Yeah, no, it's hard to tell. Mostly because it just doesn't feel like the more of those characters are on the map, that I feel like the more, I don't know, it seems to take away from what I feel like growing up was the aesthetic of Smash. The very colorful, playful, very easy to decipher which character is which because you're either a small pink blob or a slightly taller red blob with blue overalls, or you're slightly taller than that and you're green. You're not.
How's your vision, buddy? When's the last time we got
they're
Nigel?
just very, very detailed characters. I mean, even
Melee.
Incineroar is great, right? Incineroar is a good example of a very Nintendo, like, you know, the style character that fits into the world, but still just
You're on
as
thin ice.
detailed.
This is very strange. Let me tell you something. They
He's
all
strange.
have blue hair, and if that's not colorful enough for you, gosh darn it, you can get out of here.
It's just. It's
I
just
like
a
them
lot.
just the beautiful way they are. Each one of them hotter than the last. Okay, well, fair enough. Matt, do you have any great final Smash questions for us? Because, boys, we're just now a couple of days away. By the time this goes up, we're talking probably the game probably is out. I don't know, 2 weeks before, or when you're listening to this, it came out 3 months ago.
Yeah. Maybe
It's very
a
soon.
couple years ago, and you're like, what did those guys end up doing? No.
What
They're still
happened?
on the
to
air.
it?
No,
We know.
my question would be this, and I know I've asked this frequently on this show. How do you feel? We're on the eve of Smash coming out. How do you feel that the online battles are going to work? I mean, we've got Splatoon is a pretty intense game. It runs pretty well, considering you've got 8 players going at it, and there's a lot of textures and stuff flying all over the place and things going on the map. It's
Not
fun.
to get too technical.
But how do you feel like a Smash is going to play out? I mean, because Brawl and Smash 4 or Wii U, whatever, was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was definitely better on the Wii U one. Even 3DS one runs like serviceable. But let me say this: I think it's going to be awful, and I think it's going to be a bit of a reckoning, because now this service for online has been out. We're going to be into basically the third month of the online service. I personally have touched this NES games one precious time, and I think a lot of us signed up for it. I myself will be getting those NES controllers, so I'm all in. But I think there's really going to be a feeling here when this thing comes out on Friday, and it totally does not work online, is my feeling. There's going to be a lot of articles, like especially this weekend on sites I really enjoy, like Kotaku, but are going to be like, Smash is great, but the online is a mess. And I think it's really going to become a narrative for this game. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I foresee, in the same way right now that like Fallout 76, which I think is a harsher example, but people are really negative on it, right, online. It's not the game people want as Fallout fans. They feel like it wasn't what Bethesda, should have made for a single-player experience. But a lot of the thing that's being highlighted is like, hey, this game is half-baked, shouldn't have even come out the door. There's all these kind of hilarious glitches, and I feel like the conversation could really quickly turn to this if they're not careful, and I think they won't be because they've never been good at this. Like Splatoon does run well, but it's not perfect. It's missing tons of features, right, in terms of matchmaking and whatnot. And the game, the nature of being ink and the bullet drop in that game, everything kind of like, it's the collision detection, everything's like falling. It has more time. It's not as immediate. The hitboxes are not as important, right? It's all about just kind of,
Right.
Even the game is not meant to be like you don't go for total kills, right? It's just a land of the map. It's something that can be updated
and the whole
slowly
game was
in comparison
designed
to ping.
from the ground up to be played online.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not a
for
party
sure.
game.
And
so
And I think a concession they made smartly for Splatoon was they made it not like you weren't getting super like sweet headshots, and Splatoon's never been about that because the game doesn't run quite that smoothly or quickly. Everything's designed with that in mind. Smash, on the other hand, we all know it's a known quantity, right? This is ultimate. It's a coming together of all the things we've experienced a bunch of times, and people are going to expect good hitboxes. They're going to expect modern matchmaking tools. They're going to expect minimal lag, especially now that people are paying $20 on top of this game, on top of a $25 fighter pass to play it online. And I think, like, I'm hyped for Smash. I know a lot of us are. But I can't shake the feeling, despite how excited I am, it's a little bit of a known quantity, right? If I had to put my excitement level right now, I'd put, like, maybe a 4 out of 5. Like, I'm still super excited. I can't wait to play. But I feel like the surprises in the game, given that we know the roster, the video footage is out for World of Light since it's already leaked, of course, I'm waiting on that, but I feel like what's waiting to be discovered is how well does this online service hold up, and I do not have high hopes.
Danny, you played some Smash Wii U online, but not a ton. So what's been your experience with that, and do you have any hope?
I think we tried twice. One time we got like maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes worth of hits in, and then it just started like, oh, I think Matt left the game
so
now, but there's still 3 of us. We'll keep going.
The best part of Smash Online is fighting the little punching bag while you wait.
Right.
And he's hard.
Yeah, and I like the little
best.
acoustic version of the Smash theme during that.
I like that too. Very sweet.
Maybe he's one of the DLC characters. It's the punching bag.
Right.
How sad would that be?
Oh my God, that would be.
Does he have feet?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, he just hops.
Does he get feet?
No, he's filled with revenge. He just wants to he's been a punching bag his whole life, literally and
he just tips over and rolls.
Oh,
across
I can't wait for that. The sandbag punches back, or whatever will be like the caption.
Yeah, fights back.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a great. I'm sorry, Danny. That was a great little segue there. Continue.
No, it's all good. I actually completely echo what Austin was saying. I mean, I think of Nintendo likes to go on their own, to the beat of their own drum. Even when I just think of how they've developed the Switch, well, it's your own, very unique technology that I know the other gaming companies are trying to eye for. How could we kind of mimic this? Just little things of like, it's not powerful enough for a lot of big games, like the Battlefields, the Call of Duties. I was just reading earlier today. I've been sitting on my high horse about where's Spyro, and the developer was talking about. He's like, I don't even know if we've talked about if it's powerful enough to take the new Spyro, with all its new animations and updated graphics.
There are 3 Spyros in there, so I mean that's a lot of Spyro. You need a lot of Spyro dedicated RAM for that.
Fair. Mm-hmm. So even like little things like that, I'm like, they're not up to the rest of the industry, and I appreciate them for not like always wanting, we'll do our own thing. We don't have to be up to the industry. I think Reggie was saying that. I'm not worried about my rivals. I'm just worried about Nintendo. But then I think about online, and Xbox and PlayStation has gone through their paces to get online where it's at. And they still every now and then, have their little mess ups. But for the most part, they run consistently high frame rate, high graphic intensity games that they are able to get you to play online properly. Probably I'd say 90% of the time. Going off of all of that, I'm actually also very worried. Even though reasonably thinking, you think the industry is at this level, even though you're they're finally charging us now, I'm also actually expecting the bottom to come out underneath it for online play for Smash.
I want to jump in really, really briefly just with an anecdote, which is that I'm at work and a physician was asking me. He's like, "Hey, I was talking about video games," and he's like, "What should I get?" He had a PS3, okay? And we're talking about it. And he was kind of weighing his experience with pros and cons from last generation with PS3, and whether or not to get a PS4. And he was like, "Well, the online, my friends have Xbox, but at least PlayStation is free." Because he was still under the mindset of how it was back on PS3. And I just think that, and I was like, oh, it's not anymore. And his response was like, well, is it worth it? Something I need to have? And, that's a question he would have to face if he does end up pursuing that. And I think it's a question that now for the very first time, everybody who owns a Switch has to. Because it's like, yeah, Splatoon, maybe it doesn't run perfectly. Mario Kart, you can't matchmake. It has all these problems. But it's free. That's always been kind of like the little asterisk where it's like, can't really fault it. Now it's $20, and I have a lot of friends who have just bought a Switch for Black Friday or Cyber Monday for Smash, and they're going to get online. They know they're going to need it to play their friends, and they're going to expect it to be not trash. And $20 is a lot, especially because $20, yeah, it's a third of Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus, but it's $20 basically for Smash. You know, like really for most people, it's going to be $20 to use for this one game a year. You know, there's not the library of games, there's not the network, there's not the party chat, there's not all this, that, and the other. And I think it's really going to be a big question of is it worth it or not.
So I'm slightly more optimistic.
Great.
I think it will be
get out of here.
And that I do think that it's going to stumble out the gate, and fans are going to let Nintendo hear it, and rightfully so. You know, we're on the cusp of 2019, and this is still going to be an issue inevitably. However, I have to believe that with the success of the Switch, and we don't know the exact numbers of how many people are paying for online, but I know that they've been investing in their online infrastructure and the servers that they have, and I gotta imagine that they've been testing this leading up to it. Maybe it's not their main focus, but I wanna believe that it's gonna be something that they're gonna pay attention to and try to make sure that they're either updating or, you know, maintaining throughout the life cycle of the Switch. So I think it's gonna be better, significantly better than the Wii U, but that's not saying that it's gonna be, you know, a quality online experience. Now, I have a Nintendo-sponsored LAN adapter, which they recommend, of course.
Yeah, that's foreboding too.
Right.
Yeah, right. Because they're like, and also the fact that they have to advertise like not being on Wi-Fi. Like we all know Ethernet is the best if you're trying to be like, you know, hardcore, get the best, you know, download upload speeds for your games, but for Nintendo to be like, hey, on this portable system, make sure it's like plugged into an Ethernet cord through like basically
the best connection,
a certified third-party adapter, like doesn't bode well. I just think they've not given us any reason to be excited about Nintendo Switch Online still, right? NES games are not exciting.
Wait for
and
Animal Crossing.
we're now
It's
a few
nice
months
and
into
slow.
it. It's still yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good for those, but it's like there still is nothing to be excited about. And I think from their perspective, they're like, hey, it's only $20, like not a big deal. But now people are going to be viewing it as $20 for Smash Online, and they're going to expect a modern experience at the very least, something they could be having on their phones at the exact same minute for millions of mobile games, right? And they're going to get not that. And you know, part of me really looks forward to how it goes because I hope it creates some. I mean, it could just be awesome, and this will be the last time we talk about it. But I think it's going to create a conversation about what our expectations are. And maybe force Nintendo to not play by the beat of their own drum a little and try to catch up too.
And actually, you gave me a reason you actually just gave me a thought to maybe be more optimistic, because I think of like games like I've never played it, but Fortnite just recently came on Switch, right?
Yep.
And unless please, internet, you know, of our thousands and millions of fans, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Hop in here, please.
But
say anything. Anything rude will suffice.
Let us know you're out there. But like, unless something drastic has happened, I don't think that game has had any online issues.
It hasn't, but
that is quite a few many players,
and it's totally true.
That actually gives me, and I hadn't thought about that when I gave my first initial like, oh no, we're all screwed. But no, that actually gives me a little bit of hope that maybe it won't be totally botched.
I just think maybe for that. It's those are like a lot of Epic's servers. Like Epic is the master of that. They make engines, they make online experiences, and though you're right, like it should be possible. All these things like should be possible on hardware, and I think Fortnite is a good proof of concept in that way. It's like this one Nintendo's they're putting together the I-beams and the L logs. Not sure how construction works per se, but like this is their like foundation they're building upon now. Then they have to make it into like that's like my question mark, but you are right. It can be done. Fortnite has voice chat, without the phone app. How do they do that?
Oh, we don't have to go that far. We don't have.
But it's like they have figured stuff out in a way that Nintendo, if they must know how to do it, but they haven't shown us that they can yet. So, proof's going to be in the pudding.
I I think it'll
By
be
pudding,
interesting to
I
see
mean
in the
Kirby.
future if Nintendo releases Smash Brothers commercials that highlight the different features of the game. Right now, we've seen a couple of, like character highlights or just different maps, just getting people hyped. But I wonder if, it's not telling if they don't highlight it specifically, but if they were to be like, now take the fight online,
I
that
think
would be
so.
cool. But we'll be talking about this in yet another Nintendo podcast next week, I believe. Anything else, boys? Anything else to add before we close this one out?
Yes, I want to talk about Pokemon Go Community Day. Kidding, we'll do that another time. Good podcast. Matt, thanks for hosting. And Danny, thank you for being here and just being you.
Live long, and prosper.
Goodbye,
friends.
everyone. We'll see you
Classic Nintendo line.
on the battle.
Wow, you're such a hip YouTuber.